Hello, Bio students. Today we are going to continue with the genetics unit and we're going to look at lesson 4, pedigrees. So what is a pedigree? A pedigree is a diagram that shows the genotypes and phenotypes of organisms from one generation to the next. It is similar to a family tree. So notice here you see some shapes that are representing people. And then you see that some shapes are colored in, and each shape is going to represent a particular genotype or a particular phenotype. So on a pedigree chart, females are shown as circles. So this is the symbol for females. And males are shown as squares. Each level represents a generation. So how many generations does this pedigree have? How many generations do you see here? So the answer is 3, right? So each level here represents one generation. This other level represents the second generation. And then this other level here represents the third generation. So for example, the generation at the top here might be the grandparents. The generation down here might be the kids, and then the generation below are the kids as well of this second generation. So this might be the grandparents, the parents, and then the children. When males and females are connected by a horizontal line, as you see here, right, this horizontal line right here, this means they produced offspring. So these two people here, this man and this woman, they produced offspring. So how many couples are shown in this pedigree? So anytime you see a line connected, that's a man and a woman that produce offspring. So here you see, of course, 3 couples. And then the kids are represented here with a line. So for this couple right here, they had 1 girl and 2 boys. For this couple here, they had 1 boy and 2 girls. And for this couple here, they had 1 boy. Okay, and then, of course, you can show who those kids married. So this girl married this man, right? And then they had these 3 kids, and so on and so on. Oftentimes, you will see generations in individuals numbered. This makes them easier to identify. So notice here that each generation is shown with a Roman numeral. Roman numeral 1, Roman numeral 2, Roman numeral 3. And then each individual here is numbered. So let's answer the questions. Is individual 8 in generation 2 a male or female? So this person right here. And then is individual 11 in generation 3 married or single? So take a look. What's the answer? Yep, this person is a female, and this person here is single because there's no line connecting it or her to anyone else. All right, we color in the circles and squares depending on their genotype. So an affected male, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a genetic disorder or condition, but we color in depending on what genotype or expression of a characteristic we're talking about. So if you're shaded, you have that condition or characteristic. We call it an affected male or an affected female. And sometimes we can half shade it if it's a heterozygous condition or a carrier. How to tell if the trait is dominant or recessive? If both parents and offspring have a trait, the trait is dominant. So here we see one parent having the condition, and then we see the kids having the condition, and then we see some kids, this kid right here, also having the condition. So we see both parents and offspring having a trait. So the trait is dominant. If the offspring has a trait but the parents don't, then we consider that trait to be recessive. So here we have the parents who have the condition, but then notice that the kids here do not. So in this particular case, for example, this parent might be big B, little b. This parent might be little b. And then the kids here who also have the condition might also be big B, little b. In this particular instance, for example, if the condition is recessive, then we would think of this shaded individual as little b, because the condition is recessive. And then notice that in the second generation, no one has the condition, right? And it skips until the third generation. If mostly males are affected, the pedigree is considered to be sex-linked. So sex-linked means that it's carried in the sex chromosomes. And we are not going to spend much time talking about sex-linked right now, but these are just conditions that occur in the sex chromosomes. So it's the 23rd pair of chromosomes. So remember, if you are a female, your sex chromosomes look like this, and if you are a male, your sex chromosomes look like this. So if mostly males are affected, as you see here, then the pedigree is considered to be sex-linked. If both males and females are affected equally, the pedigree is likely autosomal. As you see here, both males and females affected equally. Autosomal means the non-sex chromosomes. So in a karyotype, that would be pairs 1 through 22. Sometimes carriers, or the heterozygous individuals, are shown, and other times they aren't, and you need to figure it out. Look at the parents and the offsprings for clues. So for example, pictured here is a pedigree for cystic fibrosis, and they tell you that it's an autosomal recessive disorder. What is the genotype of individual Roman numeral 1, 2? So this person right here. So since the daughter has the disorder, right, right here, then mom has to be heterozygous. So notice what we've done here. This is autosomal recessive, right? So that means that the shaded individuals are recessive because they have the disorder. So little a. And notice that this couple, they have an individual here who is also have the disorder, little a. So in order for this individual to have it, then mom also needed to carry the recessive condition, right? If mom had been big A, then there's no way they could have had a daughter that was homozygous recessive, right? And then the same thing here, right? This little girl would be little a. Since it's an autosomal recessive disorder, most likely that this man right here is also a carrier. We can turn Punnett squares into pedigrees. So for example, brown eyes, big B, it's dominant over blue eyes, little b. So turn the Punnett square that you see here into a pedigree with brown eyes being the marked trait. So how would you do that? How would you turn this into a pedigree? Well, we see here that this is dad and this is mom. And then they had 1, 2, 3, 4 kids. So then the pedigree would look like this, right? Both mom and dad are heterozygous, so they're half shaded. And then notice that they have these 2 kids here, and they're both girls, and they're heterozygous. So these 2 girls are big B, little b. Then they have this boy, that's big B, big B. So that would be this guy right here, because this is a dominant trait. And then they have this little boy here who has blue eyes. So this little boy would be little b, little b. And then the parents, of course, since they're half shaded, would also be heterozygous. So let's work some sample problems. So on your note taker, create the following pedigree. In turtles, long necks, capital N, are dominant over short necks, lowercase n. Mom has a short neck, little n, and dad has a long neck, big N, little n. Mom and dad have 2 turtle babies, one girl with a long neck, which is heterozygous, big N, little n, and one girl with a short neck, little n, little n. So here is the key for long neck and short neck. So what would your pedigree look like? So pause the video right now and try to work on the sample problem on your own. All right, so here is the answer. In turtlenecks, big N are dominant over short necks, little n. So here we see dad. Dad has a long neck, so this is dad. Mom has a short neck, so this is mom. And then here are the 2 turtle babies, one little girl with a long neck, big N, little n, and the one turtle little girl with a short neck, little n, little n. Did you get it right? Good. All right, let's try sample problem number 2. On your note taker, create the following pedigree. Brown eyes, big B, are dominant over blue eyes, little b. Mom and dad are heterozygous for brown eyes. Mom's mom, that's grandma, has blue eyes, and mom's dad, grandpa, has brown eyes, big B, big B. Mom and dad have 2 kids, one girl, one girl with brown eyes, big B, and one boy with blue eyes, little b, little b. And here's the key for brown eyes, and here's the key for blue eyes. So pause the video and work on sample problem number 2. Did you get it right? So here is the key. So mom's mom, grandma, has blue eyes, and mom's dad, grandpa, has brown eyes. So here's grandpa, and here's grandma. Here is mom. And then mom and dad are heterozygous for brown eyes. So this is dad. So here are the 2 kids that they have. One girl with brown eyes and one boy with blue eyes. So notice that I'm writing down the genotype on the pedigree chart as well. Did you get it right? Okay, let's move on. Sample problem number 3. On your note taker, create the following pedigree. PTC tasters, capital P, are dominant over non-PTC tasters, lowercase p. PTC stands for phenylthiocarbamide, which is a chemical that some people can taste and some people can't. Mom can't taste PTC, and dad is homozygous dominant for tasting PTC. Mom and dad have 2 daughters and a son. Use a Punnett square to figure out their genotypes. And here is the key, the PTC taster and the non-PTC taster. So pause the video and work out the sample problem number 3. Did you get it right? Right, let's take a look at here. Mom can't taste PTC, and so mom is a non-taster. PTC tasting is dominant over non-PTC tasters. Dad is homozygous dominant. So this is dad right here, big P, little p. Mom is a non-taster, so it's little p. And mom and dad have 2 daughters and a son. So first we got to figure out the genotypes, right? So we do that by doing a Punnett square. So this is dad right here, big P, little p. Dad is homozygous. Oh, wait a minute. I did this incorrect. Dad is homozygous dominant. So dad is big P, and mom can't taste. So mom is little p, sorry about that. So this is dad, big P, and mom is little p. So then that means that all of their kids are going to be heterozygous. All the kids are going to be heterozygous. So they have 2 daughters and a son, and they are all heterozygous. Okay. Did you get it right? All right, moving on. So this is our last sample problem. On your note taker, create the following pedigree. In cat paws, a recessive trait can cost 6 digits instead of 5. Oh, look at that cute little kitten. Use the Punnett square below and turn it into a pedigree, with 6 digits being the marked trait. So here is the Punnett square. Pause your video and turn it into a pedigree. All right, did you get it right? Okay, so here is dad, big B, little b. Here is mom, big B, big B. And here are the offspring. So here we see the 2 boys. One is big B, big B. One is big B, little b. And here we see the 2 girls. One is big B, and one is big B, little b. So did you get it right? Okay. So that is it for this video.